The subject of leadership is always difficult to explain in a short time because you need to give lots of examples so people can relate to it. That's number one. Number two is also we're discussing leadership in London, and London, one of the most significant cities in the whole world. So you here, you are a global leaders. Yes, we are from Sudan or from other countries, but we are in a city or in a country which is considered politically, economically, socially significant. Our media in the UK is one of the most significant media in the whole world. So people expect you to be a global leader. So I will go quickly. I teach at the University of Sussex, and I also teach here at the University of East London. But these pictures of these different logos are some of the organizations we have been working with them for the last 20 years. Some of them are governments, some are United Nations, some are companies, and so on. But I will give you quickly this one, if I can show it. Where is it? This one called Jendouba University. This university is in the northwest of Tunisia, just at the Mediterranean. I just came from there last week, a few days ago. And when we went there, all of them, the Vice Chancellor and others, high likely she is watching us now, he introduced us to a lady or a girl, young. He said, this is the one who actually organized all this conference. And I said, oh, good, well, and then the next person I met a minister. Everyone is coming. You know, Alam, this whole event is organized by this girl. So meeting youngest like you who are leading big events or organizing big issues is not new to me. We also had the same thing when we went to Stockton University in New Jersey. We met the Vice Chancellor, all of them. So in the evening like this, when we went to the dinner, the whole thing, it tends to be organized by students who are on your age. So I will leave them now, I will move from them. But what I'm trying to say to you, what I'm going to explain to you here, it is not just from the textbook, it's from experience with many, many organizations, including the United Nations Children and Youth Organization, where they are trying their best to empower the youth. And there is lots of things about this. So I will just quickly move now. Now, I'm very sorry about the screen. I think it is small. Now, I will quickly go through three things. The first one, I will try quickly to look through why you or the youth have to consider understanding leadership. Why? Why is it important for you to study leadership? Why is it important for you to learn what leadership means? And the second thing I will look, although Sheikh Babakar already have helped me a lot, I think it's almost done. What are the profile and the criteria? Because when I went to Newcastle just last week, the people who invited me and the Sudanese junior doctors, and they asked me, what are the criteria for a great leader? So Sheikh Babakar already discussed them. I will go through them quickly. And in the last part, if you want to be a future leader, this is the important thing. All the people like you, when I meet them, okay, what steps shall I take in order to be a future leader? So you want to leave this room in less than an hour, at least taking something with you. If I want to be a leader, this is what Alam said. I am just an individual. Now, I will look through the first one. Why leadership? You need to take it from a global perspective. Everything we do in this room, by the way, this lecture is being broadcasted now and is in our website, wasd.org.uk. If you want to share it, if you go to that website, you can find our Facebook and you share it. It's called WASD, which is World Association for Sustainable Development.org.uk. It is now, and there's huge work to get this done. But the idea is there are people now watching. They can watch this from everywhere in the world, in their Facebook, anywhere. So this is where you have to see you are bounded by the global drivers and forces. And the second thing is, when it comes to great leader, I will discuss a couple of issues here, which is, I think the yellow is not very clear. I will look into the criteria and I will give examples. And I think there's never going to be a better example than what the Sheikh gave us in the last 20 minutes about the future leader. I will look the steps you need to take and in practice what you need to do. So quickly, when we teach students at the university or when anyone talk about leadership, the first thing come to people's mind are those kind of people, which I'm sure you know them. The reason I highlighted, Cameron, bigger than these others, because this gentleman, as the Sheikh was just explaining, when he realized he failed to deliver, he campaigned to keep the UK in the European Union, and he failed. So what he did, he said, I lost my authority as a leader. He hasn't done any corruption. He was one of the most considered, most of the most youngest leader in this whole world in terms, he was very powerful, he was liked by many people, he gave many examples, but he left it because he said, I lost my authority as a leader. Because I campaign, I am the prime minister, I have all the machinery with me to keep this country in the European Union, I failed. So he left it. And just to remind you about that. So when we talk about leadership, this is what people they think. Presidents, managers, and so on, people maybe from Apple and so on. But no one actually look to the leaders who are, we call them informal leaders, or those who are running our pizza shops, or those who, the people who are running a startup company like you from their bedrooms. They are leaders, but the people don't remember that. The biggest marketing company in Brighton, given the startup company of the year in 2009, it started by a lady who lost her job in a one-bedroom flat. Then they rented a two-bedroom flat because she was with her partner in a one-bedroom flat. Then they moved from a one-bedroom flat to two-bedroom flat because now they need another room to do work. And at the time she got that award, she's running a big place like this with 60 people. She was the leading company in Brighton. So those people, what she was doing, she will come to you, this is a product you're doing, she will help you to reach your customers. Again, it's a target. She will say to you, this is, I will translate what you want to deliver better than you. So this is where when people sitting at this, you can see them. And I like this picture because you can see one is opening his, or they are opening their laptops, and the other one is eating the pizza. So it can be, leaders could be all, this is a factory, could be there. The other thing is, these pictures are from different places. The one on the left is from Sudan, and the one on the right from Brazil, 1989. When I show these pictures, 1889, they will say to me, Alam, you are so old. But when I was in Brazil, this is in a place called Jaboticabal, which is very far away. Curitiba, do you know Curitiba in Brazil? And I remember the weather completely. It's very difficult to talk to them in English. They speak in Spanish and other Portuguese language. But the fact is those people, they were the one who organized, they are the nerve for the whole week we spent there, students or youth from all over the world, they did not speak a single word of English. No English. But they managed to make people happy. And that picture actually taken when I was doing something with the computer and so on. But there's no English. This picture is from a group of TEDx, you know TEDx in Khartoum. I like them because this is from Sudan. What I like about this picture, I always carry it with me, is full of girls. Why I'm supporting girls? Because not only me, the United Nations now, the key mandate for the United Nations is women empowerment. This is now a global, there is no, it's not about discussion now, or we, even in people say to me, you're talking too much about women empowerment. To the extent we will ask you now to have men rights because women are so much taking all the jobs. But it is fact, women are now being empowered. The one on the left again from another gathering in Sudan, but the one on the right hand side, this is from the Prophet Muhammad city, Medina Munawwara. When they contacted me, they said, we want you to come and run executive workshop for the whole Imarat al-Medina al-Munawwara in al-Medina. This is 5 minutes. I can see the mosque there. This one in particular, it's 5 minutes, so we used to pray, I used to pray for 5 days or 6 days, all 5 prayers in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mosque. And I said, they said to me, Alam, I was so excited to go to this. So even people, this was run in a hotel. Imagine you doing the workshop like this. When it comes to the break, you go and pray Dhuhr. You finish the Dhuhr, all of you, and you come back. And what I was saying to people who are running, tomorrow I'm going to a TV program, they said about HR and human development in the Middle East. Why not you do workshop like this? You take people, rather than you take them to Dubai hotel, take them to Medina Munawwara. It's a 5-star hotel. And they pray. The feeling of when these people keep coming back, it was unbelievable. So people are still in the Medina Munawwara, next to the mosque, they were doing training on leadership. And so on. So I will go quickly. This is where I want to start here. 2017, I was asked with other people, one from Russia, one from where, to be a judge on judging the best awards, the awards for the youth who have been competing by submitting proposal for social enterprise. So people like you, young generations, all over the world, they were competing on social enterprise. A social enterprise is startup or project. It simply means you make money, but also you have to help the community. That's the simplest way to define social enterprise. It's a new science. We will teach you at the university. But in simple words, do business, but make sure you help the community. So all people came with projects and so on from all over the world, and we went there, and we have to evaluate them. The top 100, they came, they've been given the chance to present, and then we judge them. But what I want to show you here, this video is just a quick glimpse of, those are the youngest. Why not you do workshop like this? You take people, rather than you take them to Dubai hotel, take them to Medina Munawwara. It's a 5-star hotel, and they pray. The feeling of when these people keep coming back, it was unbelievable. So people are still in the Medina Munawwara, next to the mosque, they were doing training on leadership, and so on. So I will go quickly. This is where I want to start here. 2017, I was asked with other people, one from Russia, one from where, to be a judge on judging the best awards, the awards for the youth who have been competing by submitting proposal for social enterprise. So people
To you is very simple. Be afraid, feel stressed, doubt, but don't give up. Continue to do what you think is very important and matters to you. Be a really change maker.
My message to all youth all over the world: you either create history or you are part of it. Don't be scared to show your abilities and make a difference in the world today.
Hello from Dubai. I got a message to the world. Borders don't exist. It is just an excuse.
I have a message for the world. 1, dig your potentials, and 2, be creative. I'm a very strong advocate of the fact that your potential takes you where your credentials will never take you to. Also, creativity is the spice of life. Creativity makes the difference between the best of them and the rest of them. It's very imperative that in all we do, we are creative. We go that extra mile with creativity, and that's the reason, and that's the secret to rightly impacting our world.
And to all the young people, the youth all around the world, you have the power and the energy to make a difference, change the world. So don't be afraid to sometimes think out of the box, try to do what you want to do, like be wrong, make mistakes, that's how you learn. And we're in like the age where you can explore and learn new things. So don't be discouraged by the environment around you or like the failures. So keep trying and be creative, and yeah, don't give up on your dreams.
My message to young people out there is this is our time to make a difference in the world. Contrary to what we always hear, that tomorrow is for the youth, I think that today is for us. We need to seize every opportunity that we have today to make our various communities and our countries better places to live. Cheers to everyone out there. Thank you.
But this is a very important message I want to start with. The whole issue now, the whole globe is focusing, while we are focusing on you, the youngest, but this message is very important. And I found this one. It says, children need to learn to take responsibility for their actions so that they do not become adults like us now. We were not taught at school, my age and older, we have not been taught at the school to take responsibility of our actions. So at the same time, everything is available for you now. You have your mobile phone. You should learn to take responsibility of the mobile phone you have in your hand. This is the message number 1. Yes, we are doing everything for you, but it's the same, you should learn, and school should teach you and coach you and your parents. You should take responsibility of everything, because we don't want you to be older like us and complain, believing that nothing is ever your fault. Some of the things on today's could be your fault in the future. So that's one first message. Now, you need to take into account what is happening in the world. I will go quickly through this one of the time. The whole world went through different revolution, industrialization. If you look at countries, the whole Africa did not move in industrialization by more than 2%. So when Germany is already manufacturing everything, the entire African continent only managed to move like 2 steps in the manufacturing and industry. There is no industry in Africa, very limited. So you can see this is where you need to see the world. That's why investors, they consider Africa is a good place to go and invest in manufacturing. That's why Toyota is producing its car in South Africa. Can I now quickly ask you, why do you think they have chosen South Africa? Why Toyota company, many years ago, when they wanted to expand, they selected a country in Africa called South Africa. So why do you think they selected South Africa, not Sudan, not Egypt, not Morocco? Yes? Sorry? With all the, yes, thank you, lakin no. To some extent, but no. Yes, they are all right, but we need the most important reasons Toyota went to South Africa in particular. No. Let's assume you are Toyota. You are producing your car here. If you decide to go and produce this car in another country, a completely different country, you will take the model as it is, you go and build it in another country. What will be the critical factors will encourage you to go to a particular country? And you are a car manufacturer. I want to refresh your mind to be here. Yes? Which one? To some extent, but specifically in the ease of business, what? Car manufacturer. Anyone else? Yes, at the back? Sorry? One of them, yes. I will not go to a country, I'm going to need lots of labor, which will have significant impact on my cost, unless I can find cheap labor. So South Africa got cheap labor, but most of Africa, they can also have cheap labor. Then we will come to the inference. But most important than the cheap labor is what? No. Sorry, I'm being just quick, not harsh. Huh? No. I wouldn't go to South Africa to manufacture. I'm a businessman. What else will take me to a country, to choose a country to manufacture my cars? What, sorry? No. If you look, the only one I gave him right is that at the back there, he said, or she said, low cost of labor. Yes. No, there is another most important thing than the cost of labor. What is it? Skills. Sorry? Skills. Raw material. Yes. Why are you waiting? The critical part is all full of steel. That's why Sainsbury, Tesco, M&S, Zara, all of them, they go and produce this fabric in Asian countries because there is no cotton in the UK. So this is where I just wanted you to open your mind to understand how things happening. So they went to South Africa because South Africa, they got the steel. You are a car manufacturer. If you cannot go to a country, there is no steel. Why Zara went all the way to Bangladesh and so all these countries? Because they're looking for the fabrics, the cotton. There's no cotton here. I wouldn't go to a country there's no cotton. So let's move quickly. So anyway, well, it went through different revolutions, information and globalization. Now, the way we used to manufacture, as a leader, you need to understand, the way it went, business are now running in small bedrooms. Millions of pounds are now created, distributed in small bedrooms, 1 to 2 bedrooms. Yes, there is a video. It might not very, very appropriate because we have kids here, but I can ask you now, do you know the most watched video in the entire world? What is it? The most. Do you know how much is the population of the whole world? How much we are in the whole world? 7 billion, yes. This video is being watched by 6 point fraction of that billion. Almost the entire world watch, number one watch video, 6 point something billion. Do you know what that video is? I can show it to you later, okay? But don't Google it now. Because easy, if you put the most watched video in YouTube, it will come to you. But don't do it. Now, you need to understand from now, before we go to the skills to be a great leader, this whole world is facing lots of challenges, but they have been authors, scholars, government policy making, they have put them into these categories. One of them, you can see there, conflict and terrorism. It's become a serious issue. And Sheikh has just explained it. And how do you know this is a challenging, a global challenge? Just watch BBC. The first 3 news they will produce, you know the first highlight? Normally they are the most important piece of news. This issue has been yesterday, last night, the day before. It is a critical issue. It's not just about 300 people lost their life, but we also lost one it's a critical global issue. So you need to understand what is going on. That's number one. Before I came here, we were in the discussion with the people in Nairobi about our conference, and we might change it because of terrorism and so on. So this is one of the issues. The other issue is water. You have water here but these people still don't have drinking water. Billions of us, and so on. So I will go quickly through this one. So you need to open up, like a sheikh said, knowledge. You need to be knowledgeable. How would you get the knowledge here? I say this to my students all the time. In the first classroom, I will say to them, do you watch BBC? No, we don't watch it. And I will say to them, if you really want to become a good student, to get distinction, and to become a good manager, you need to watch BBC. You need to know what is going on. That's why big companies, all big companies, if you work with them, or if anyone working with them, you will find in their break area or in their canteen big screens to know what is going on in the world. Very important. Big companies, they always have a TV screen showing the exchange rate, showing things, or in some Arab countries, I have seen Al Jazeera in all working and so on. Before Al Jazeera lost some of its credibility, but it used to be. But BBC is still a credible one. So you have to understand this. So climate change, ecosystem. Climate change is important to mention because in the last meeting in France, there is a lady came from Saint Lucia. It's an island in the Caribbean. She came and said, you're talking about temperature going up or down. I'm talking about 2050, the whole island will disappear. The country now will disappear. She's in our advisory board. She said this Saint Lucia will disappear. I have seen it in 2010. It's being cut by the hurricanes, people either on the right or on the left, and they managed to save life by simply people using phone calls. Because you will be sitting in your house in this island waiting for these hurricanes to stop. So what they told people, the moment you see any sign of it happening, call the others. Just use your phone, and so on. So I will move quickly. Now, in 1987, the whole issue, the whole world is talking about sustainable development, and it's very simple definition. It says, development that meets the needs of the present, you or us, without compromising the future. We can enjoy as much as we like. We have to make sure those youngest in the future, they will have what we have now. If you have 4 mobile phones, you have to think about those things. I wouldn't spend time here but this is where you should really have your starting point. You need to make, the whole world now, they're doing whatever they're doing, taking into account the future. And these are the 17th goals. You need to understand who they are, because this is where the whole world is working. There are 17 goals. All countries, they have to achieve them. All of them, poverty, all of them. I wouldn't go through this one because I really want the time. Now, this is the lady I mentioned to you, Gail Rigobert, the Minister of Sustainable Development and Innovation. This is the Minister of Finance, and this is the Prime Minister. This lady always campaigned for that Saint Lucia will disappear. Disappear is the example in the whole world happening. But the important thing, this man, what he said, Jeffrey Sachs is very famous on sustainable. He said, all the geopolitics, which Sheikh referred to, is nothing has to do with all of us. Can you just read this one? All of us together to find the best sustainable development. So we should always remember, this is the whole world is talking about this. All of us. And that's why I like an initiative in Bahrain. It's called Together Safe. And they're not just talking about Christian and Muslim and non-Muslim. No, they're talking about black and white, ethnicity, poor and rich. And one of the projects they did, all the students at the university in Bahrain, I think they are watching us now. They went on a day, they chosen, and they stopped, they have a big bag of gifts and money, and they will come to you, you are a cleaner in the hospital, they will say to you, Hayo, thank you very much for cleaning the hospital for us. Without you cleaning it, we would never have enjoyed working or studying here. And this is just something to say thank you. This is part of, this is how people they think. The same age like you, they're having something called Together Safe. You can Google it. This is the concept. Poor, rich, Muslim, non-Muslim, whatever it is, they said we have to live together. So this is the other thing. Now, this is getting more complicated, but you need to be aware this is what the whole world it is. You have to look into the human needs. They will continue to be there. Economic growth, we all want to grow. The big conflict or the big disagreement between the United States and China is all about economic growth. So I know some of you may not be following what is going on between the US and China. What happened? The Americans are saying to the Chinese, you need to slow down in your carbon emission because you are manufacturing excessively and you're going to pollute the whole world. The Chinese are saying to them, this is what you did many years ago and you have become the leading country. Why you don't want us to do it now? This is the bottom of the whole conflict between the US and China in terms of climate change is this. America has already established itself. They have polluted the world many years ago. The Chinese are doing it in the last 10, 15 years. The Americans are saying to them, you need to slow down. And the Chinese are saying to them, why do you want to stop me? Do what you did before. So this is where you need to understand. But the bottom line here is the center of the whole sustainable development concept is education. This is agreed, confirmed. Without education, you cannot do any of this. That's why the work is being done here is remarkable, education. That's why we bring our kids tomorrow and Sunday in centers like this, because of this. The two next to it is knowledge and innovation. The whole world is run by innovation. We're talking about these two things. So you can see this is the whole, if you like, this is the center of your thinking as a leader. You need to understand this whole thing will not happen without education. So let's move quickly. What is leadership? So I'm asking you now, what is leadership? You clearly know something about leadership. Sheikh explained some of them, explained what is not leadership. It's not about commanding people. But quickly, if anyone can give us a definition of leadership, what is leadership? Influence. Excellent. Who is that? You said that? Who said that? Excellent. I give you 100 of excellent, because that's one of the important associated perspective of leadership. You need to have that influence. A sheikh is influencing us. His talk, the way he talks, can influence us. He influences us to do what? To listen to him. Because in order for us to do what he does, he wants us to do as good for ourselves, he needs to have that great ability to influence us to sit down listening to him. And that I said to the sheikh, every time I listen to you, you can't move. And I remember, and that's very important. If you don't have it, you have to, that's how we train people to be influential. Then it will come, you have to be trustworthy, otherwise you cannot influence people. So, but all textbook, yes.
Ability to manage people and time.
Ability to manage people and time and so on. And that will also lead to a manager and a leader, and there's a difference between them maybe in the future. But this is the best slide I have seen. It's been going on with me for almost 9 years. What does it say? Say it's like beauty. Leadership is like beauty. It's hard to define. And everywhere I go through all of that, I said to them, how do you define beauty? How do you define this girl is very pretty? What do you mean, Alam? I said, you said she is pretty. What is the description? Is it tall, that means it's pretty? No, some are short, are very pretty. And there was an example in 2008. There was a magazine said the Italian men don't like, I can't remember. You remember there was a trend, all girls want to be seen. You remember that in 2008? The Italian, when they questioned them, the men, they said they prefer a well-built woman. So the Italian boys you can't define it. So let me now ask you, because we're talking about your understanding of the world. Until recently, what is the most attractive man on the planet? Women voted for him. I want to tell you, this is the things we need. You said to me, what's important about me knowing the most, not handsome, the most attractive man, they call it. Who is that man? Because it's a title. He got a title, the most attractive man for women. No. Quickly with the woman. Yes. Who is that? Now, why he is the most attractive? Can you describe what is exactly make him the most attractive man? But if I ask her what is everything, she will not be able to list them. Is it because he's tall or whether he's short, and so on and so on. If you take and so on. So leadership is the same. It's something you can say, yes, he said to you, he got everything. So the leader, you will tell he is because he got everything. Influential, trustworthy, respect people. As Sheikh said, Prophet he always look at you. Oh, assalamu alaikum, yes, no. Warm, you need to show the heat. There should be heat in a leader. The leader who cannot create heat in the room is not a leader. You can't be calm. No, it's not part of a leadership. If you're not having a louder voice like mine, you don't need to have. My voice is not recommended. So when I'm teaching, I need to calm it down. People will tell you how you can actually make your voice like these things, and so on and so forth. So let's quickly move. In textbook, we start the leadership. We say this is what we can teach. We will say leadership, it got 4 big components, which is people, because as Abdul Salam said, you're managing people and time. Let's talk about personality, And it talks about the purpose, and it's also you have to be able to understand what is performance. At the end of the day, there is performance. And performance will then take you to culture, strategy and achievement, effective change, and so on. In terms of personality, your self-awareness and situation fit. How do you fit? So this is what we can do in leadership. When it comes to the purpose, you need to understand the purpose of this Rumi Cafe, this organization. If you go to any organization, university, any university or any place, they have a vision and a mission. What is the vision? What do they want to achieve? Everyone got a mission or vision. So you need to be able to understand all this, and you also need to be understanding people. And in people, we just mentioned two important: motivation and capability. And I will show you this quickly. So why we want you to understand leadership. This is the most important indicators is created by the United Nations 5 years ago. So the United Nations and all scholars, research, policymakers, they said the future is on those youth, you, 15 to 24 years old. That doesn't mean if you are younger or older, that doesn't apply you. But the calculations is being calculated on this particular group. They said everything is digital now. Everything about knowledge, innovation. And they said this group of people, 15 to 24, how much of exposure and usage of the internet they are using. And based on that, they will count them. Imagine in this room, this is the whole world. So we will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have they been using, utilizing, benefiting from what we call it internet, or all these digital, if you like, components. And the more in the country you have, the better future is expected. So if you look here, all the dark brown are the countries, most of their youth, which is 15 to 24, having very good usage, exposure of the computer, ICT, and all these things to do with digital. But if you look to the Muslim countries, most of them, they are not. But if you look to Saudi Arabia, it's a leading country in the whole region where their youth, they use mobile phone. That doesn't mean they are benefiting from it to the extent with. But the fact, this indicator is very important to understand it. The aim is to make sure all of these youngest are using internet. Because you know when you have a serious incident and you be taken to hospital, you know they put something on your hand called cannula. Do you know that cannula? The cannula is more of something will stay in your body while you are admitted to hospital, so they can use it every time to inject what they want to do. So that if you are in hospital and you need lots of fluids and so on, they will not every time come and inject you. They will put this once, and every time they open it, they open it and put, to ease the pain of the needles. So the internet is exactly like this cannula. So we want to make sure every youngest is having this cannula, which is the internet. The fact you are connected with your mobile phone, the whole knowledge system in the world is in the internet. Internet got everything. That's the whole idea. So the more you have on this one, that's what we're aiming for. But if you look in Africa, for example, this is Sudan. You can see this part of Africa, for example, is doing very well. Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, and then you can follow up. But this is, you can look at it, this is all it's all available. But do you know the country #1 in the world in the digital natives? #1 in the world, their youngest are using ICT devices. Not China, not South Korea. Whenever I go and ask people, they say to me, USA, UK, no. It's South Korea. And by the way, #1 in the whole world, net exporter of ICT products and services is South Korea. #1. This country used to be in the 60s, the same GDP, the gross domestic product, like all African countries. So South Korea used to be like Sudan, Ghana, and all African countries. Believe it or not, 40, 50 years ago. The same. So now they are #1. Now, this man, this is the most famous man we know in a subject called data science. So this is the leading science now, which people expected to solve all our problems. With data science, they can actually examine you with your history, your blood, your father, mother, and predict whether you will have cancer or not. This is what is happening now. So this is the leading thinking in how the future is something called data science. And this man said, most of the time, he said, 85% of the reasons for failure are deficiencies in the system, not in the people. This is where you need to understand. When you're going to manage people or to lead an organization, 85% of the success of an organization depends on the system. Most of the countries in the developing countries or Muslim countries, unfortunately, most of them, they don't have that system. And if they have it, it's not efficient. These countries here, they have the system. We don't have it. And I remember there was a study presented in Pakistan, 1999, in a conference we had. The professor came, he's originally from Pakistan. He came to the conference from the US. And he said his study was alarming. That's a long time ago, 20 years ago. He said he selected all the leading Muslim countries, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and so on, all of them. And he selected a sample of non-Muslim countries. And he brought, I remember, a copy of the first ayah. You know the first ayah in Quran? Iqra, read. And he said, this is, all these religions, Muslims are starting by read. And he said, the countries which start their religion by read, they are not reading. That's what 1999, 20 years ago, proper science. And it's true if you compare to it. So now we need to look at this one. The other way you need to look at it, they said all organizations, you're going to lead them, whether it's private, public, whatever it is, they are based on 4 pillars. The same like Islam, you have pillars. For the organizations, we have pillars. These pillars, you need to understand them in order to be a good leader for that organization. One of them is the people, but it's just one of them. The second one is the resources. And the resources, what we say about them, 2 things. We divide them into strategic resources and threshold resources. Threshold resources are the resources which you cannot survive without them. Essentials. But the strategic, if you have any kind of resources which will give you a strategic advantage. And the best example to make you happy is like Ronaldo. If you have Ronaldo in your team, he's an strategic resources. But if you don't have Ronaldo, you don't have that strategic advantage. The best example, Ronaldo. If you don't watch football, is because he is, or in a hospital, if they're the hospital, if they have a brain surgeon or a cardiologist, they have a strategic advantage. But the threshold in a hospital is the A&E department. Without an A&E, you cannot survive. There is no hospital. But the hospital can be running without having a brain surgeon. And I have seen it in many places in the UK. Brighton is an example. They don't have a neurological department in Brighton. If you have any problem here, they will take you by the helicopter to the next town, which is Hayward Heath, to be treated there. But the A&E is essential. The third pillar is, if you can see it here, an economic actor. There is money coming in, salaries, and so on and so on. But look at the fourth one. And this fourth one was discovered by the Japanese in the 1980s. This is a Japanese introduction to the whole management, if you like, literature. They said any organizations will not succeed in the future without accumulation of knowledge and learning. This is the knowledge system in the whole world is a Japanese phenomenon. The Japanese are the one who, what Japan gave to the whole world is this concept of knowledge management. And read it again, accumulation. Accumulation means tarakum. It's not just one, like a sheikh said. Continuously you need to be accumulating. Not accumulating more money like he said about the president, he has billions of pounds, accumulating knowledge and learning. And knowledge is knowledge, you know it, but learning, like we're doing here, now we are learning. We are learning how to mix all these things. So there is learning and knowledge. And they have to be accumulating. And all the tests they have done, economists, it is one of the resources in the whole world. If you take from it, it will increase, it will not decrease. And I can tell you, now I gave you whatever knowledge I have. This is the slide I use everywhere. It took me a long time to build this slide. You're going to take them. But what I am going to get out of this, the least I will get an email or a Facebook text today. And it will end up in a relationship. And it will end up maybe business opportunity from here. It will end up someone, oh, Wallah alam, I was so happy watching you. So the fact I will feel I have influenced some of you, I will feel my knowledge has brought something to me. This is how knowledge never runs short if you share it. So that's why people advocate for sharing. Now, this is quickly, all these organizations we studied, they have been successful, whether they are public or private, because of knowledge sharing. And now let me ask you, do you know the first organization in the world used knowledge management system in the way they manage their organization? The US Army, the military. The US Army is leading the whole world because they have used knowledge long time ago. The first organizations to deploy knowledge system, ma'rifah, was the army. And then all this organization you can see. LinkedIn, Starbucks. Do you know what Starbucks they're doing? You go to Starbucks, you take coffee, you give me mocha with cream, whatever it is. You don't know what's happening in their head office in Amsterdam or in America. You just think it's a coffee shop, I will just buy coffee. No. They are continuously managing, using their knowledge system to understand what will be the next flavor Alam will like. Now I drink with them these 5 flavors. And the other good example is McDonald's. You remember McDonald's is going with the trend. People like healthy food, so they introduced 10 years ago, you remember that fruits, snacks, and so on. People, they don't like too much salt because of blood pressure. They reduced it. You remember all that story. How they get that? They keep analyzing the till. You know that till where you give them your card? They go back somewhere. There are economists or data science people analyzing what is going on. They're analyzing our behavior. That's why if you are a single person and you have any discount card with Tesco or Asda, you never, just ask yourself if you have that discount card from Asda, you know that card? If you are a single person, you're never ever going to get in the post a discount or promotion for nabbies or for something like this. Because they know you don't have kids. They know from your habits of consumption. So these things are there. So all these companies, and one example I will just quickly go is because people from Sudan, but not from Sudan, even in Egypt and other countries, our land registry. In Sudan, you can easily, it happened to us. We bought a place, yes, here, officially in the embassy, and my brother went to Sudan to see the land I bought. Guess what did he find? In the capital city, he found my land, which I bought it here in the embassy. Someone already built a house there. His car is sitting outside, and he's enjoying his garden. Completely, this will never happen in this country. Do you know why? Because right now here, you can open your mobile phone. If I'm going to sell you my flat, all you said to me, Alam, give me your address. You don't need a state agent. You don't need that big solicitor to confirm with you. They will do the job, but you can find out who is the owner of that flat. And it will tell you how much he bought it for. And it will tell you he bought it from whom. And it will tell you the previous one, how much he bought it, and so on. This will avoid, no way you can cheat anyone on land here. No way. You don't need even to log in. This is where you can see how the world is being run. So quickly, this is a definition of our government here about knowledge management. The UK is deploying knowledge at a massive scale. One of the leading countries in knowledge management is the UK. And this is their definition, and you need to read it carefully. Knowledge management is about building organization intelligence. They're not talking about managing intelligence, zaka. Just look at this point, zaka. You have to be very smart. By enabling, how? By enabling people, enabling tamkeen and nas, enabling people to improve the way they work in capturing, sharing, and using. It's not just good to capture. Many times, when people, by the way, give you gift books, like in this event, if there are books here complimentary, if you are not going either to share it or use it, don't take it. Because there might be another person who will have that pleasure of he will share it. If you're not sure you're going to read it or share it with others, don't do it. So capturing and sharing and using knowledge, it involves the ideas and experience. That's where the young will fall into the UK overall development strategies. They said, all scientists, they said, you, the youngest, have much better and new ideas than us, the old. Because right now I'm standing here, I'm thinking of my wife, my daughter who is sick, my salary, my work. You don't have that much of data, gigabytes in your mind thinking about that. You're just thinking about small, maybe TV, maybe games, and so on. So they said, your mind is not that working hard like old man, number one. Number two, you are born with these things. And the example I always give to my friends and colleagues Sudanese, and I have seen this. Last example, yesterday I gave you the postcode, right? And then you came and met me in the place where we met, right? Yesterday she wanted to meet me. I text her the address, and I immediately found her in front of a Starbucks, far away. But if it is an old man or a woman, okay, Alam, if that's the place near Vauxhall, when I get out of the station, there's a big building, green, I turn right, I turn left. This is how our old generation, they don't follow the postcode. But the young generation, they believe 100% on the postcode. They believe on the navigators because they know what is it. But if you're inviting some in your Ramadan, who is an old, like my age, Sudanese family, but okay, Alam, where do we park? If it's a young one, he will just put the postcode and he say nearest car park. And they have some surveys about the 3 characteristic future public service leaders needs most. Number 1 was emotional intelligence. Visionary has a public service essence. Emotional intelligence. This is a complete subject now in leadership. And so on. You have to have a vision. And the vision is, or the difference between a leader and a manager, the manager, he can control this room. He will make sure the lighting is working, people will get paid, salaries, water, everything. But they said the leader is the one who will see beyond that wall. He will see the future. You wouldn't see. The manager will not see behind that room. He will know what's behind that room. And so on. So I think this is a picture from United Arab Emirates. This is the first country in the Arab countries which implemented knowledge management. The reason I brought this picture, I want to ask you 2 questions, but please, you have to follow me quickly because of the time. What is the most important thing you can actually capture from this picture? What is the most striking thing? Good, but there's something most, yes, that's a good one, but let's, women. Sorry? Yes, women, there's so much good women, yes. The most things will, you know the headlines. But there is also old. Yes, young, yes. It's a relatively young future leaders, yes. But the paper important, I stick that paper. That's the question. What is the most important thing you can get from this picture? Happiness. Sorry? Happiness. Excellent. What's your name? Adrian. I will just call it smile. Why you use an academic terminology? Smile. They are smiling. They are laughing. They are happy. And in the happiness index, Emirates come very high. But the issue is, these are 5 teams. 5 teams. One of them is the ministerial one, that's the undersecretary, and then we have the IT company, and then we have the change. We have a team called change management. And this is people, you can see them at the back. Can you see this guy? This is the one who led the NHS medical information system. It's a British company. Can you see this guy? This is a British team. But you can see the front. This is one of the leader. He's a Lebanese American on training and coaching. And then you can see here, these are the people who were doing the training. And these people here, this one, the Egyptians, they are the one who translated the coding and the software and everything, which is British into Arabic language. They are based in Egypt. And then you have the people the whole thing is done about them. These are the managers. And then you have the youngest, which you refer to them. But to get them all to smile, including this sheikh, was very, very hard. Because one of the girls said to me, Alam, they don't listen to me when I go to them. I said to her, why they don't listen to you? Can you take me to any department and introduce me? Say, Alam, he came from the UK to read this project, blah, blah, blah. She went, and she was having this in front of her. What is it? Khimar. And she said to me, because I am dressing like this, I said to her, no, the government wants you, and you are in the government office. So the government is promoting people with khimar, they can work. The fact you are a government employee, that doesn't mean they don't like you. So I said to her, can you do it in front of me? And she went to the procurement department. They're all men, 5 men in the room. And she stopped like this in front of the door here. And she said, Assalamu alaikum, tayyibin, kif halkum? Allam Dayana, Professor Allam Dayana in the UK. حيقعد معنا عشان يمسك المشروع. She was looking at here. When I went to the office, I said to her, do you know why they are not listening to you? Not because of what you have in front of your face, because you don't have any power. You're not influencing them. You are so cool. And I said to her, why are you putting your head down? You're already covered. So the fact nothing to do with the khimar. Nothing to do with the khimar. And we have this girl here, I remember this one, where is it? This one. She said to me, Alam, I will never ever going to stand up here in front of the whole government presenting anything. I said to her, but my job is to help you all to stand up here. It took time. She prepared the presentation, everything, but she said she cannot stand up in front of the ministers. I have people in the government of Abu Dhabi told me, I think one of them might be here. Can let me look for him. Yes, here, Abdullah al-Bulushi. Very polite, degree from United Arab Emirates University, one of the best universities in the region. But he said to me, Alam, I cannot ask a single, he asked a question to an expert after we left. I said to him, why you didn't ask him inside? He said to me, Alam, I cannot ask a question in front of my director. I said to him, fine, now this is another task. We have to make sure one day you ask a question in front of your directors. And this is it. Culture issues, we deal with them. We're not saying wrong or right. But this is the whole issue. You need to remember, if they are not all smiling, the same like your kids. If I got Shahad is happy and Lena is not happy, I haven't done anything. It's a family. Your wife should be happy. I'm not going to talk about this because Sheikh will talk about this next time, much million times better than me. But this is, you have to remember, this is a household. In economic terms, we call it household. Husband, wife, kids, whatever it is. We say the consumption in this house is this. If the whole household is not happy, job is not done. So that as a leader, exactly what the Sheikh said. You need to make them all happy. And there will be a key to make them all happy. Because their aspiration is different, their age is different, and so on and so forth. And that's your job, is to understand them. You are not just being a leader to have a nice car and so on, and becoming a big office and so on. You need to spend time to understand what will make him happy, what will make her happy, and so on. And I can tell you now, it's not all money. That's why you can see if you work in McDonald's, I clean the dishes so I know everything happening. If I am working as, just on what is it, hourly paid in McDonald's, the fact at the end of the month, they will put my picture in the kitchen as employee of the month. That's a huge feeling for me. Employee of the month. I'm the best in this kitchen. You will say, but you are a cleaner, Alam, or a kitchen porter. Yes, but I am working with others. I am better than them. In other job, like what I'm doing now, what makes me happy is money. Not because I'm after money, but for me, I don't have much time. I'm going to give you an experience of 25 years. So I am not asking you to give me money because I love money. But this money, my pleasure now is to use my training to donate it for people, for my mother. I'm doing it for her she died. So you have to satisfy if you don't have money, I will teach you for free. But if you have the money, that's what I need this money for. Everyone is different. So you have to make sure they're all happy and then you carry on. This is a Scandinavian airline. Let me quickly ask you, have you ever heard about an airline called Sabina? S-A-B, Sabina. Have you heard about this airline? From where? From Belgium. Excellent. And what did you say first? This is the Ferris airline. It's Belgium. You know, the head of the European Union. They have no airline. Do you know that? The same like Sudanese now. We don't have an airline. We have one. Imagine, we have a building in Khartoum. Imagine Belgium, the headquarters of the European Union, they don't have an airline. They don't have a British Airways, they don't have a German Lufthansa. The Ferris airline to go out of business after September 11. You know, after September 11, the traffic volume, air traffic volume reduced by 45%. So after September 11, many people stopped traveling. You remember that? Who stood there firm as the strongest? The weakest one, the first one to get out of business was Sabina. But because of the time, do you know why? And because it's good. Actually, by the way, whenever I ask this question, very few times I get people to answer it. People, they don't know what is Sabina. It is the Belgium airline. Do you know why they were the first one to go out of business? What is the thing they always fail to do it? Sorry? Why? Good. Their customer satisfaction, when Emirates scored 95, 96 many years ago, like 10 years ago, they used to score 95%, but in weird things. I'm happy. No, I don't like them. Quickly, do you know what they do or they fail to do? Number one, if you're traveling from London with Belgium airline or Sabina. Do you know what Belgian people, when I was in 1992 in Belgium, do you know what they call it Sabina for? The Belgian people, not me. Such a bad experience, never again. Honestly, that's our president in the association. He's a Belgian. They call it this way. They play with it. Sabina, S-A-B-E-N-A. Such a bad experience, never again. Let me tell you what is this such a bad experience. You're traveling with them from London to Brisbane. Not Brisbane, no, to Lisbon in Portugal. So the standard way, you go from London to Brussels, and then you change the flight to Lisbon. If you are stopping over in Brussels less than 6 hours, you will not get your luggage with you on time. So in order to get your luggage when you arrive in Lisbon or in London with you, in that connection where they take the luggage from this flight, arrive from London, and then they put it the one going to Spain, they have failed. And the result of that, you arrive in Brisbane or in Lisbon, okay, you wait for in that thing, oh, your luggage not there. You start to get up agitated. No, this is not me, this is not you. And then you spend the whole time. And they will not start helping you unless they get rid of all of the luggage there, right? Because they want to make sure really yours didn't arrive. So you spend time frustrated, you want to go to a resort or something, and after that, okay, can you go to that desk, ask them, they will report it for you. Then you go, okay, show me your boarding pass, okay, what does it look like, black. You spend too much time. Like this one, okay, where are you going to stay in Lisbon? I'm staying in this address, maybe this address in Brighton. Okay, fine, we have another flight coming early morning. You go to your hotel, 3 o'clock in the morning, the reception will call you, oh, we have someone downstairs for you. They bring it to you as soon as it comes in the next flight. Why? Because if they spend more than 24 hours, by law, they have to give you $100, which is 70 pounds at that time. Because otherwise, they have to pay you. So they failed. Customer satisfaction was the worst. They failed to manage that particular transition over in Brussels. So they are out of business. But the CEO of this company, Scandinavian Airlines, said, in all our business, the moment of truth, he called it, the moment you need to ask us or you need us to help you, that's the moment we should deliver. When you are frustrated over an airport. You know, one of the things, a case study we give to students, imagine you are in an airport and your flight is being delayed for long hours. It's actually much better if you keep announcing to the passengers in the gate, okay, we still haven't got news, we're still going to be waiting. Rather than you leave them sitting, because what will happen if you are sitting there, you don't know when it's late. You know it's late. You're going to keep going, looking at the screen. Not yet. You can't even enjoy your time. And for the airlines which are starting the journey from home late, by the way, I discovered recently there is one looking like the Sudan Airways. It's a Tunisian Air. Always late. 2 hours, always, because I traveled now 6 times with them. Always late. I tell you why they are late, because they overuse the flight. So the one you're waiting for it in Tunisia to bring you here is coming actually from Germany. So if anything happened there, it will delay it here. And then it will delay it when you arrive in London, and so on. But you need to know the information. So he said, we need to train these people to make them able to take decisions, to answer questions when this moment of truth we need it. Now, quickly, they said the information in the organization is sitting here. 70% of the knowledge of the organization is with the people, is with you. It's not in the systems, although the systems are important for the efficiency. And they said 10% is shared, 20% in personal files, and 70% from the employee. The example we give is like you having an exam, and there are 10 chapters. If you only have 10%, which is this one, you will not pass the exam. Because at least you need 55 chapters in order to pass, if you pass correctly. That's where focusing on people is becoming extremely important when it comes to their knowledge and experience. So you need to understand this. When you're going to be leading in an organization, you need to understand 70% of your knowledge assets is actually in these people's minds. Their experience, their traveling, there. So you need to capture that. But what is shared in the files or in their USB is less than 30%. So the other thing you need to understand in order to understand how you manage in this 21st century, This is the old style of work, which still exists in Arab countries, Muslim countries, and in Africa and development. It does not exist here. What is it? Where is Alam? Alam, I'm going to work. Where are you, Alam? I am working. Where are you, Alam? I'm driving back home. Fine. Where are you, Alam? I am going to the work. Where are you, Alam? I am working. Where are you, Alam? I am going back home. They said this will never lead any country to their future. And they said there is something else need to be changed. So what is this something else need to be changed in order to go out of this traditional approach to work? And no. Sorry, I'm not being harsh. I'm just trying quickly. We had a smart answer before. You answer a very difficult question, by the way. The Sabina one is very difficult. No, not many people, they know Sabina. What need to change here in this cycle? Go to work, do the work, go home. Sorry? No. What need to happen here? Drink more coffee? Have more break? Sorry, what did you say? Who is that? Yes, can you try to massage this word and I will give you the award. What do you mean by reflect? No, you're nearly there. You know, like the plane is about to land, you are nearly there. But you need to have a smooth landing so we can clap for you. You're right to reflect, but it's not really reflect. No, I still give you because you are landing. I don't want to give it to someone who's still up there. What do you mean by reflect? Why do you reflect? When you have a problem, then a sheikh will say to you, okay, can you go home? Reflect on what I just said to you and do what? And learn to do what? What did you say? What did you say? Improve. So you have to go to work, do the work, but make sure before you go home, you improve the way you do your work. Don't just go every day, do the same thing and go back home. No. You need to improve your work. The same like, I keep repeating you, Sheikh, your pray. We all pray from the time, Lena, from 7 years we start praying. You always need to think about how to improve your salah. We know salah, we know everything, tashahhud, we start everything. But you need to ask yourself, how can I improve? If you don't improve, that's why all countries which are leading the world now, in GDP, they are having improvement in the way they do the work. Emirates is not rich or moving far because of the oil. If the oil will make a country richer, you can see the Kuwait Airways. Emirates is number one in the world. Etihad is number one. But Kuwait Airways, Saudi Arabia Airways, they are not. If it's just about money, no. But Emirates is leading because they have improved the way they do the airline services. So this is, you need to consider it. When it comes to change, this is what we always find. Wants to change, who want to change? Most of them, they start shutting down. If you say, who wants to lead the change? No one. So you have to start from here. As a leader, you need to be one. If you are not in this box, who want to lead the change, you are not going to be a leader. You have to be prepared to lead. The word lead means taghut. What does the taghut mean? Captain, you are driving the car. That's where is it. If you don't have that courage, okay, who want to change? All people. Yeah, me, we need to change. Now we have changed the dictator in Sudan. But who want to lead is not there. No one took the courage and say, I am the one who want to be your president. He will not say that unless he's confident. He get the experience, or he has the experience. The Sheikh said, trustworthy, لا يكذب, لا ينافق, لأنه في Facebook وفي social media, people can easily filter him. If he got all this, he will say, I would like to serve you, my country, and so on. Now, quickly, so there is a need for change, and this is what is happening in Emirates. That's why they are changing. Emirates are talking about excellence in the working environment. They are one of the best government services are actually in Emirates. Not because of the money they have. They are very rich, but because this is how they're thinking. And why they is saying to them, you have to change? إرضاء العملاء. The people who come to the council every day, we want them to be very happy. That's why I want you to change, and so on and so forth. Number two, ازدياد الحاجة إلى العمل الجماعي. We need to work together. But if you look at us, WhatsApp, many times you find yourself have no other option than to exit a WhatsApp group. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. If you are having a WhatsApp group with your colleague from work who are not Muslims, who are not Sudanese, you're high likely to stay with them. Because they don't send anything irrelevant. They send only the relevant stuff. People they know. They're the social network you have with your close family. They're the network, they're a WhatsApp with maybe your colleague who are professional. You have another WhatsApp with your funny, funky people. Each one is different. But what we have in our culture, we send everything. It's just people, they wake up in the morning after they pray, you shoot everything. Share everything. And that's where the danger is. So criteria for a great leader, the Sheikh already did that. Number one, you need to have and learn and be an influential person. And in the same time, can only happen if people can trust you. You need to be an influential person, but you can only achieve that if people can trust you. If you can let them to trust you, to lead that car. From your experience in the last maybe 15 or maybe 15 because you are young, who is the most influential leader, politician, leader, president or ago, from the last maybe 10, 15 years you think of? Which one? No, Barack Obama, yes, from the recent one. Because I didn't want to go to Nelson Mandela. Yes, he is right, but maybe people, they haven't seen him. But Obama, most of us have seen him, right? He is. And many people said, oh, he's a black guy. He didn't win because he's a black. The whole black people in America are 13 million. They will not make him a president. He have managed to win because his opponent was so weak and he was so strong. Can you remember his opponents? All his qualification, he's been to the army in Vietnam. That's all his qualification to be a president. But this guy was focusing on other qualifications. And that's why this is a true picture. I will show it to you later. I think I showed it this picture. This is what the Sheikh said. You have that. This is a real picture, by the way. Can you see the billions or the millions of people that were just standing there listening to him? You can say why they are having all the trouble, stuck yourself in the middle of all these people. You could be watching him on TV, right? But the power you will feel, if you watch him on TV, you wouldn't feel that heat. I told you about it. Why people spend 70 pounds and go to the match tomorrow? You can watch it on TV. Not because it's a big stadium, but you need to feel, yeah, this sound. It's an energy. You will not feel it at home. This is a sync. So you need to have that power. And that power doesn't come from nothing. Secondly, as a leader, in order to have that character of influence, you need to make sure you can manage number. What does that mean? We teach students something called finance for non-financial students. You don't need to study finance in order to understand figures. You need to understand the basic. So you can easily avoid these things. You understand? Like the Sheikh said, they got 70 billion or something euro in his house. Does he really need to have that amount of petty cash in his house? No. And so on. You also need to look into integrity from 3. We call them 3 C's. One of them is character. And whatever you say, you need to make sure your words and action you need. That's exactly. Whatever you say, you don't need to withdraw yourself from it. So work and actions. And this is exactly what the Sheikh said. Secondly, competence. You remember 4 years ago, the police here in the UK were so angry with Theresa May. You remember? Because she used to be the secretary for the Home Office. She said she wanted to introduce something called competency and fitness tests for all the police officers. Every 2 years, she said, all police officers in this country, they have to do a competence and fitness test. You can't be like me and you're a police officer. You have to be strong, thin. We have police officers double my size. They can't run after a criminal. They can't. So she said they have to get, if you are a police officer, you have to be fit because it's part of the job. If you are a sheikh, you need to know all ayahs in Quran. You need to know tafsir. You need to understand the contemporary issues. You need to understand why people become terrorists. It's not just reciting Quran. So this is quite important. As a leader, you need to be competent. You need to be competent. That's why we say watch the news, read the papers, Financial Times. Papers here in this country, they're in the bus for free, like the metro. You can get something from the metro. It's not a bad paper. You can read it. Now, the reason is sometimes we have, like in Saudi Arabia, kids like him, they're driving cars. And there's an issue in Saudi Arabia. This is not from Saudi Arabia. But the last one is consistency. And consistency is so important. If every day you come to work at whatever it is, 9 o'clock, you are in your office. Tomorrow you are on time, 9 o'clock, 9. If the sixth day you didn't come at 9, people, they immediately say, definitely Alam got a reason why he's not here. If you always tell the truth, one day you may say something which is completely not true, they will say, definitely Alam didn't know. They will not say you are a liar. Because you have a consistency in telling the truth, you have a consistency, you're always there. You have like a sheikh said, Prophet, he always look at people and say, Assalamu alaikum, and say it. If you always shake hands with that warm, if one day you are ill or you can't, people, they give you the excuse. So consistency, character, competence are three important, what we call it, about your integrity. And you have to consider them serious. Factor 3, inspirations. There is no leader will succeed or call himself or herself a leader unless he can inspire others. No way. No way, it will not work. You will say to me, okay, if I am not born as an inspirational leader, what shall I do? We will say to you, there are people who are giving you courses, coaches, blah, blah, blah. You can. You don't need to be born as a leader in order to become an inspirational leader. And this is important. And this is always the example I give. I am here, I'm teaching you. Imagine I'm in the class. There is 3 levels of teacher. One of them, a teacher who, we call him a good teacher. He will explain to you how you do things, how things happened. And the second level of the teacher is the teacher, we call him a superior teacher, who will demonstrate. So rather than you say to you, the first one, he will say to you, if you throw this ball through that net, you will score. He explained to you, how do you get a goal. But the second one, he will demonstrate to you. He will take the ball and he will say to you, this is how you do it. So you have seen how you do it. The third one, which is the leader one we're looking for, is the one who will inspire you to do this every day by yourself. Sheikh will teach you how to recite Quran, right? How did people start to memorize Quran? So the Sheikh will read to you the ayahs. This is how you teach kids. But how can you inspire those kids? And I said this, wallahi al-azim, I said this to Professor, my daughter, I can see the difference you managed to embed on her, because every time we're leaving the flat, Dad, you have to live by your left-hand side. You don't get, she is practicing it every day. She doesn't sleep before she reads Quran, wallahi al-azim. That's not from me, it's come from here. So that's where you need to inspire them. Many times at night, she can't even see. She still wants. She can't sleep without praying Isha. But this is where you have inspired them to do these things. It's not just you told them or you did it for them, but you inspire them. They will not sleep unless they do it. And they can see. And this is where the level you need to aim for as a leader. Inspiring others. And this is example, this picture, those who they know or the Chelsea fan, or if you are not a Chelsea fan, it happened before. You remember this Jose Manero before? Chelsea lost this week, next week, the week after, 6 weeks, if you remember that. So for football is a business in this country. You all know that. It's a business. It's not fun. It's not entertainment. This is business. So it's a company. So Chelsea cannot afford losing. 6 weeks they lost. So they went and they got this man. Do you know this man? Yes. He's a good manager, but when they brought him, what did you think when they changed the manager after 6 losses? What do you think they have in mind? They had Mourinho at that time. He failed 1 week, 2nd week, 3rd week, 4th week, 5th week. They don't change the player, they change the managers. Have you seen that? They don't change the players. You never have noticed that? When just look to Manchester United. They were losing, so they changed him, they brought a new guy. They don't change the players. Because you remember we said before, 85% of the deficiencies are in the system, not in the people. You remember that guy, the guru of the data science, said 85% of the failure are system related, not individuals. So when you bring this guy, he will not come and train people like this. These are first class players. These are the top players, Ronaldo, whatever it is. He will come to do one thing, which is this one. A good coach will make his players see what they can be rather than what they are. He will not come and say to them, you are losing, let's train you more, give you more muscle stretching or more training. He will let them see what they are able to do, which is to win. because that's what they lost. That's all. So if you do that, they will win. So when you see a football team bouncing back, that's exactly what the manager is doing. This guy, when they brought him in Manchester United, that's all what he did. He's not a magician, but his magic is to let them see what they were not seeing, of able to do it. And that's what you will let them do. The other thing, one of the best things you can do for others is to help them recognize how they can improve. And that's where you come about positivity, don't be negative. Don't tell them you are unable to do this, but you can tell them what they can do. And this is very important. So this is where you can see in the school, you can let them. This is the most, so far, I brought him to you because his talk is at Harvard University, London School of Economics. They bring this guy for their high-level executive MBA programs. You can watch him either in LSE or in Harvard. This guy is one of the best leaders so far in football history. What he managed, you know these players, you got players from all over the world. They don't talk to each other. Their culture is so different. Young and old. The magic to get the best, that's why Manchester United was dominating the whole world. The magic is to create productive team. We call it productive. It can produce from all this diversity of players. And their ambition is different. You have to remember that. These people, they waste money, 100,000. Each one of them on the front line and in the center half, they want to score the goal because the goal will make you in the front line. It's so. The defense, they will do their best not to have any goal in their net, and so on and so forth. It's money, it's reputation, and it's huge publicity. So he will have to make this team very productive to draw the best from people. They effectively coach teams in collaborations, consensus building, and conflict resolution. So you have to make sure all these people in this room, different inspirations, different background, different language, they can collaborate. You build consensus among them, which is to produce and to minimize conflict. And imagine you need to do that quickly and so on. So factor 4, improvement, which you said there. A leader is always should be able to do improvement. And in the improvement, this is Obama. I'm not a fan of Obama, but he's a good example. You can't improve, he practice. This guy doesn't just come, he's a Harvard graduate, yes. But he practice, he play football, he's very fit, mentally and physically. When you see him, people said to me, I asked people before, when he was the president, why do you like him? You remember one of the girls said to me, I like him because he's so much in love with his wife. He danced with her in public. You remember he was dancing with her in the... I said to him, fine, but if he's not fit, he cannot dance with her in public. He's slim, he's smart. If he's like us, he might shy to dance in public. So this is all come by practice. So that's this is another message. The other thing is leaders everywhere believe in what they're doing. Leaders is big in performance. That's why any manager, he will say, I have done this, I have done this. Performance, you have to have a performance measurement. That's why schools in this country are evaluated. Leaders manage goals. And quickly of the time, this is the one in the Medina Munawwara. Now, why I'm bringing this slide, because I asked them when I finish, the people who are doing the recording, the university, this is a university-led, this was, the room is like this, and they have two screens in between them, this wall, this whatever it is. When you look at them, you don't know whether they are watching here or they are watching here. Can you see? Imagine this is a room like here. There is something here standing, and there is this screen. It's a very nice hotel in Medina Munawwara, and there is another screen here. When you look at this picture, you wouldn't know whether they are watching here or watching here. They are just watching this way. That means if I move, I can think they are moving. Not because I am so good, no, but the way I am doing my job here for them, I was having them with me. They have given me amount of dates I couldn't even carry with me. And everyone is trying to tell me this is the best date you can take. This is the best. And when I said I can't carry it, it's physically difficult, they went and brought me something. They said to me, this is very expensive, and I tried to explain to me some of from Medina. But the important thing is, this is another one. You really need to understand this one. You have to be a politician. Not politician like our politician, no. You need to be someone who can actually do things. Al-Hikmah. He can solve problems. He can motivate people. He can tell them not to do wrong things, but he has that magician or that political. He can bring people together and so on. So there's lots of talk here. You need to know something called sales or marketing, we call it. And marketing as a science, we say to people, marketing is not about sale. If you come to us at the university, the first lecture will give you marketing. What is marketing? All the students will say sale, sale, sale. Marketing is not about sale. In the textbook, marketing is about customer satisfaction. We are not about sale. We wouldn't bring you to the university to teach you how to sell. You will know how to sell it. But Tesco is not about sale. It's about customer satisfaction. The more we satisfy you, the more you come again and again and again. But if we sell to you, fine. So what? So this is, you need to also understand how to satisfy the desire of the customers. The other thing is leaders are also managing quality. And the reason I bring this picture, do you know what is this called? VIP people, premium hotels, they wouldn't bring an egg, which will have these ones. Some people, they don't like it. You know, when they have a half-cooked egg, they just psychologically, they don't like it. They're paying you £400 per night. You know, there's lots of very high VIP hotels. Even the type of egg, it has to be very clean. Clean, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have this. There is a way you can create that one. Not create it, but they have it. That's why when you go to supermarket, if you want to understand this, go and see the quality of the egg. There's so different range of quality of egg. And if you want this premium, if you say to your wife, okay, how much you pay for this? £10? Why £10? We could brought it from Asda for £150. You will say to her, they are different. They are different in what they will satisfy the customer for, and so on and so on. Again, about the chemistry, and I said this example in some of the, when you ask someone, why are you just insisting on this girl? She doesn't like you, leave her. He will say, my chemistry goes so well with her chemistry. You ask you, what do you mean by that? I said, I don't know, but our chemistry going very well. That chemistry he asking you, you don't know. Whether the chemistry. Ask him. In Arabic they will say, الكيمياء بتاعتنا بتمشي مع بعض. الكيمياء بقول العرب Egyptian. So this is also very important. You need to make sure the chemistry in this organization is gelling. They are all going together. Quickly, decisions. This is where the difficulty. And this is the type of how leaders they do. They don't have a big office, big secretary. No, they have all this in front of them. Every time he got something in mind, he will go and write something. Decisions will come with scrutiny in his office. This is an office. This is the way they do this thing. The other thing is you need to make sure, as a leader, you need to take risk. If you want to lead me, you need to take risk. It's a business. You cannot just sit down. That's why in the business, in investment, there's someone we call, there's an arrangement where you have someone who takes the risk, and someone we say, Alam, okay, how much is it? We say, okay, this business is £100,000. Okay, Alam, I will give you my £50,000, and I'm happy to give me just 10%, and I would love to be a sleeping partner. We call it a sleeping partner. What is sleeping partner? He gives you the money, and you give him just 10%. He's happy. He takes no risk. He doesn't do anything. So now, the lowest risk you can do as an investment in London, you buy a flat, and you go to your house. You rent it, you take your money. But it's not too much money. But if you want more money, you have to take more risk. If you need more money, you have to go and produce your products in China. But if you want less money, you just sit here, you order from China, they will send it to you, you give them their money, you sell it. You will make a small margin. You will make a profit, but it's small. But if you want big money, you have to go and produce in China and employ people and so on. So you have to. And you have to show that you take the risk and the courage to do it. Another thing, a leader is the one who knows the way. You need to know the way, how we go. And also you need to go with us. And then more importantly, you need to show us how you do it. And that's how you train people. Steps to be a great leader, you need to decide what you want quickly. Number two, you need to make sure you will dedicate efforts. If you want to be a leader, you have to spend time. Read, study. You cannot تحفظ Quran without spending time reading Quran. No way. You cannot get distinction in the university if you don't read, study. Spend more time. But if you want to spend it all in parties, you know. And you have to change yourself, whatever that it takes. Because you have to rehearse and so on. You have to change. You start by yourself. Another one, very important, they said if you don't love yourself, you have to be anani. If you don't be anani, bil Arabi, which means you love yourself, you can't tell me you will do something good for me if you don't do it for yourself. No way. Number five, is you have to understand communication. Very important thing for leaders is to learn and study communication. That's why the university teach courses called communication. And communication is a message, you send it, someone else will receive it, he will send you back. And I always say to boys, I said to them, if you like a girl, you text her a message, wait for her to respond, don't send her another message. She will say, oh, I don't want. So if you want someone to attract her attention, you send her a message, okay? If she doesn't reply back, don't send her another one. You have to give her time to reply. Very important. And the example, the first training I had in Scotland by an American guru in marketing, long time ago, before I did my PhD, he said to us, the way you do it, if you like a girl, this is a long time ago, more than 20 years, he said, if you imagine you met her in the office and you like her. If you come to her and you say to her, would you like to go for coffee? What do you expect her answer will be? So imagine she's my colleague and I like her. I want to marry her. Why not? I come to her, what do you like? Would you like to go for coffee? Sorry? She said no. But if I say to you, would you like to have coffee Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning?
I'll have to check my agenda.
Exactly. So you see, I trapped her from no, I don't want. So if you say to her, would you like to go for coffee? No, I don't. Because she will not say yes. But if you say to her, would you like to have coffee in Starbucks tomorrow afternoon or Sunday morning? So you trap her to make a decision. If she doesn't like you, she will say no Saturday, no Sunday. Thank you very much. But if she got even 1%, she will say, okay, like she said, let me check my diary. Before she said no. So you have to understand, this is a technique. It's not something will come easier. And that's one of the things, if you want to communicate in style, you have to choose your delivery, you have to raise your voice whenever it's lower, higher. All these are techniques you have to understand and sound genuine. You need to show genuinity in your asking, and so on. Clarity with examples and so on, remember each situation and so on and so on. And this is what helped Obama to win that White House. He has delivered an excellent communication, if you like, platforms. He has been told, he's been trained how to develop his communication skill. He didn't come from nothing. That's all documented. And also, you must learn how to listen to others. This is one of our big problems. We don't listen to each other. We all have this problem. You need to learn to those who are talking to you. And more importantly, you need to be an innovator. Always think out of the box. What could be better? What could be done better next time? What can you change? This is how people make money. And here I'm giving you a good example. You need to distinguish between invention and innovation. This is an invention. We didn't have a phone before, so when this Graham Bell created a phone, so we know we have something called a phone. But this guy was not inventing the phone. He innovated the way of using the phone. He made the phone something called smart. And 85% of new ideas does not reach the market.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion. And I think that's the high order bit. The second thing is you've got to be a really good talent scout, because no matter how smart you are, you need a team of great people, and you've got to figure out how to size people up fairly quickly, make decisions without knowing people too well, and hire them, and see how you do and refine your intuition, and be able to help build an organization that can eventually just build itself, because you need great people around you.
And this is the new model. This, just to finish up, this is the last part. Is now people are talking about something new. They said in the past, this is a manager, a person who controls and manipulates resources, and the leader is someone who actually guides you and inspire others. And they said now the new model is, we call it connective leaders. This connective leader is the one who manage, as a manager, lead and follow. So before, in the science, they will say this is a leader and this is a manager. Different profile, different skills. If you want to become a good leader now, you have to be a connective leader. You have to be able to do the three of them. Managing people, leading people, and following. You have to learn how to follow. Because if you don't follow, you cannot lead. That's why when you want to be a sheikh, you have to go to follow sheikh, and then you can then lead. If you don't follow, you cannot lead. So connective leader is the one who participate, facilitate, and enable. You need to participate in the system, in the process. You need to facilitate, and you need to enable people. So these are three characteristics you have to have. And this is a good, if you like, example. This plant, you cannot just put it here and say, okay, grow. It will not grow. So you have to nurture it, you have to give it water, you have. Think and act holistically. It's a house, as I said before, all the house has to be happy. And so on. Quickly reach the top together. Always think of taking people with you. Even if you have the opportunity, make sure they also benefit from it. And so on. Conversation, Sheikh talked about it, collaboration and community. And that's why this new essence of enterprise, social enterprise, because you need to consider the community. Because the love of the community, you will feel very happy if the local neighborhood here are getting better. You're benefiting from what is going on here. But the example of Sudan, there is a big farm in North Sudan. They produce the best kind of vegetables, but they do not, the local community, they don't even can eat it. It goes all the way out, fly from Sudan to UAE and so on. So you need to make sure you benefit the community. So conversation, collaboration, and community. This is what we mean by conversation. You need to talk to each other, to your staff, and so on. You need to build that smile. Imagine these are two different people. This is one employee, and this is one. You need to let them actually talk to each other and collaborate. And you need to look into social learning, conversation, imitation. I will just go quickly, collaboration. And most importantly, as the Sheikh said, by the way, I didn't know what he's going to say. He didn't know what I'm going to say. But you can see we both agreed in all of the stuff here. Without this, can you see, learning all the life. Wallahi al-Azim, I didn't know what he's going to say. And he said, Sheikh said, you have to learn all your life. You remember? You need to be learning all your life. And learning can be from TV. Watching the news is a learning. And so on. Quickly, teaming across all levels and horizons level of the organizations, creating the informal builds community and relationship. It doesn't need to be always formal. It's not all about meeting. You can have conversations with people in the coffee shop and so on and so on. But ask her Saturday or Sunday, not do you like, for a conversation. Again, you will get so much with the team. This is Obama's team. You can't do it yourself. The problem, this Theresa May, this lady, I really feel for her. Her problem, I don't know if you can follow, if you have followed what's going on. She's a great woman. She's genuinely want to do something good for us. But her problem, her team, many of them, they're having their eye on her job. And they don't take the huge risk with her. She's taking all the risk. Most of them, they are like this because the chances for them to sit in her seat is very high. So this is where the problem. You need a team. They have their ambitions. But in her case, this is where she is now. Her team is not with her. And you will not going to get everyone on the train. Always, remember that. It's not going to get them all on board. And finally, this is the summary of Obama in the Times. It says, his strategy was stable, but he got flexible tactics. If you remember the whole history, the whole length of his campaign, he was so flexible. But the strategy was connecting with people, using technology, and so on and so on. But his tactic always changed up and down, and he succeeded. For example, when we do workshop like this, or if you want to know your leadership skill, we have tests. We do them the same like the blood test and so on. So we give you a script. We say to you, okay, can you answer all these questions? For example, so we will ask you about, we need to find out, do you have a clear values and belief, deals with conflict effectively? So there's many ways people can do. This is where you start testing yourself in order to take the steps. And I will finish here. Sorry it's taken too long, but this is, we will start.
So please remember, If we all help and do a little bit, it will make a big difference.